helped him because he loved man, just helped him to do things for man because he was so smart. You don't want to make it go back.
You're gonna have to restart it.
Oh, you got it.
And so because he could think ahead, this also made it easy for him to be a trickster. And not meaning that he was really magical, he was just more of what he did, the way he could plan and stuff, was usually deceiving. And so that's why he was known as a trickster. And then, of course, he was the god of fire. And this is because he gave man fire. And this is what he's most known for. He doesn't really have a symbol like Aphrodite did. Most of what he's known for was basically like a torch or something like that. And he was also the protector because his brother was the creator of man, and so he helped his brother create man, and in doing so, he became very close to man, and so he often liked to protect them. So like most of the plans that he thought of were for man, so that he could work with them and be able to help make mankind better. So, just a little bit of background. He was a Titan originally, but when Zeus revolted against the Titans, he joined Zeus and was on Zeus's side. So he turned his back on his Titan brothers, but, you know. He did not consider himself like as good as the gods, and he kind of in a way saw them as conceited. And so instead of living in the clouds with them, he lived on earth with the humans, because he liked them too. And he was a thinker, so he had like a great mind. An example would be like when all the gods were up in the clouds and they were all like drinking and partying and stuff, as you often see them. He would usually be down on earth or watching them and thinking and devising plans and stuff to help the humans. And so that's about that. So, sit back in the story time. And I'm going to use Oliver the Fire because he was the goddess or the god of fire to be able to tell my story. So, it's okay, no pleasure talking to you. Just whatever. Okay, so Prometheus was up in heaven one day, and he was basically kind of like watching the gods, and he was trying to figure out a way to help the humans out. And so he overheard them arguing about like the sacrifices and stuff like that. And what they were arguing about was there's two sacrifices, and one is what man gets to keep, like of a bowl or something that they sacrifice, and the other is what the gods get to keep. And so they were arguing over what the humans got to keep and what the gods got to keep. And so what Prometheus did is he went and divided a bowl into two sections, one like two sacrifices. And the first one, he took all the good parts of the bowl and he wrapped them in the skin, which made it look bad. And then on top of that, he placed the stomach, which was the worst part of the bowl. So this sacrifice looks pretty bad, even though it contains the best parts. And in the other part, he took all of the bones and he like threw them all in a pile, and then he put fat on top of them. And the fat is usually associated with the meat, and so you'd think there's a lot of meat underneath this. But there really wasn't, it was just the bones. So when he brought both of these sacrifices to Zeus, he told him to pick one. And Zeus, of course, thinks he's an idiot, and he picks a pile of fat. But then later realizes that there's bones underneath, and realizes he got the short end of the stick. So he's pretty mad at Prometheus, and so the way that he like counters this or whatever, he avenges man by withholding fire from them. And so this is where Prometheus and the fire comes in. So Prometheus then is down on earth, being the thinker that he is, and he sees that man is really cold. Winter comes, and he sees that man is really cold, and he can't stand to see them like this because he's really fond of them. And so what he does is he's trying to devise a plan of a way to steal fire from Zeus. And so what he does is he's walking along the beach, kind of like so. He's walking along the beach, and he's trying to come up with this plan. And what he does is he looks over and he sees this pile of weeds, and he sees this, it's a reed, it's called a fennel stalk, and the inside of it is hollow, and so it can burn for a long period of time, and this would be his transportation of how to get the fire from the clouds down to earth. And so what he's doing is he's walking along the beach, and he figures this out, and so he starts this long trek up Mount Olympus or whatever to get back to the clouds, and when Zeus isn't looking, he sneaks into his domain, and from Zeus's own lightning bolt, all he has to do is touch the end of the funnel stalk to the fire, and he can transport it back to Earth, where he can show man how to use it. And so this is pretty cool. But, of course, then later, come winter, Zeus looks down on Earth and expects to see a lot of really cold people. and instead of seeing like a cold, dark earth or whatever, of course he sees all this fire. And so, again, Zeus is outraged at Prometheus, and he gets really mad. So, what he does is, in order to avenge man, he gives them Pandora, which one of you guys will do. And Pandora, of course, releases all of the evils into the world. And so all of these evils create sparks and stuff on Earth and all the fire and stuff, whatever. And then to avenge Prometheus, what he does is he chains him to this rock, and basically an eagle comes and eats his liver every day, and then that night it regrows back, and then like the same thing happens every day. So Zeus offers Prometheus one chance to free himself, and that would be if he told Zeus who there was this prophecy that said one of the gods was going to dethrone Zeus, and Prometheus, being the thinker, knew who that person was. And so Zeus told Prometheus that if he would tell him who this person was, he would let him go. But Prometheus loved man more than he loved himself, and so he told Zeus no. And again, Zeus was outraged, pretty much, because he's like, I gave you a chance, and you didn't do it. But Prometheus' mother, who also had the gift of forethought, went ahead and told Zeus because she couldn't stand to see her son suffer. And so she told Zeus who the person was, and he then, to fulfill his promise, told Hercules to go and release Prometheus. So, in the end, Prometheus ended up getting released, but the way that Zeus wanted him to remember his punishment was he made him wear a link of the chain that he had been chained with on his finger, and then he put a piece of the rock on there. So now man, like, we wear rings today, it's supposedly said because we want to honor Prometheus for having given us fire. So, that's pretty much how it goes. Prometheus gave us fire. He was a good thinker. He loved man more than himself. And we now wear rings to help commemorate him. So, that's all I know about Prometheus. If you have any questions or anything, I'd love to try and answer them. Otherwise, I'm good.